Okay, so back again. So we found our floating shelf. It downloaded down here to the bottom. So now I'm going to go back to my Google slide and I'm going to drag that in. And you will notice that it does not have that white background. Obviously, we need to make this much, much smaller to fit, and I can drag it over. Now I see it's going to kind of, this is kind of really big, which is completely fine. I can crop it down smaller if I want, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just make it smaller, and I can make these shorter by doing that. So now I have my floating shelves. Now I do want it on the other side. So a little trick, once it's with your blue squares, you can right click and, oh man, I thought I was going to say duplicate. That's fine. A shortcut, Command D, and it duplicates it for you. So I don't have to re-download the picture and re-upload it. And so I'm going to make sure that that is centered. And so my shelves are ready to go. All right. So I have my shelves. I have my board ready to go. So for my board, I am going to want to write. I'm going to insert a text box. And I'm going to say, welcome to sample grade. And I'm going to center it. So I'm going to come over here and change it to center. I'm going to change the font to, I know Miss Smith loves her some Happy Monkey. I like Shadows into the Light. There's other ones here that you can look at. Let's do Impact because I like how bulky it can be. So, and I can use this plus button to make it much bigger. I can drag it over. So welcome to sample grade. And then we are going to insert another text box. And I am going, oh, not audio, no thanks. I'm going to insert a text box. And I'm just going to say 2020, 2021. And again, same thing. I like to center it, which you don't have to with this one, but it does help with the blue box being centered here. And the ones that you used recently come up, and you can make that obviously bigger. I'm going to drag that over. So welcome to sample grade 2020, 2021. All right, so once I have that, I would like to create some little signs here for my stations to go to. So I know on the sample one, I did have some directions here, which you can go back and create a text box with those same ones if you would like to let them know that they need to present for everything to be interactive. But we will go to that when it's the end. It's not even there yet. So I am going to go back to my Google image search, and I'm going to search table, still my caps lock, table stand transparent background. And I'm going to look at all the beautiful things. I think this cake stand is actually really cute. So I might try to do that one, but obviously there's so many different ones that you can choose from. You can even choose these like clear ones, and do like actual stands you would probably have in your room. All right, we're going to try to do this little cake stand because I think that is cute. So I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to search for that download button. That is not it. That's Grammarly. We don't want to download that. Most of the time it's going to be on this side, but sometimes it's not. So just really look for this little add thing here, and that lets you know that's not what you want. So now that I've clicked download, it did hop down to the bottom. So I'm going to come back over here to sample, my little sample slides. I'm going to drag it in, and I have my little cute stands. Now you can also do the same thing we did with our shelves. And now that I have it sized, it is quite large. I'm going to fix that. Now I have it sized like we want. I'm going to do Command D again, and I'm going to place those where I want. And now Command D, make sure that you are having the blue around it to make sure to work. All right, and so now I want to create some signs for my stands with the station numbers. So again, I'm going to do Insert text box. I like to make it over here on the side because it makes it a little easier for me. I'm going to type in the number 1. I'm going to highlight it, change it to impact, make it much bigger, and you can also click on this and scroll and do that. I'm going to center it. And so since we're going to kind of make this a sign, what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure this is highlighted. I'm going to go ahead and make it a filled sign here. So to do that, I'm going to come to this little paint bucket. I'm going to click that, and we're going to make our background of our sign like a light blue. So when I click on that, it's going to make it a light blue box. And excuse me. Excuse me. We're going to put a border on the outside of it so that it kind of makes it a little more crisp and clean. So I'm going to click on border. We're going to do a black border, and we're going to make it kind of thick so it makes our little board here. And I can obviously pull this in so it's a little bit more centered, and I can drag it over and put it here. So I do need to make it a little smaller. So I need to make the number 1 probably 24 so that I can make my little box small. Yep, perfect. So again, I can maneuver it with the arrows. Now, I could redo all those steps again, but that's too much. So I'm going to do Command D. Bring it over to the side and change it to the number 2. And I'm going to bring it back over here and do the same thing. Command D. All right. Or make it 3. Move it over. And these red lines do help you make sure it's like it was before. It lines up with the other side. And obviously you can have more stations, less stations, not even stations, do whatever works for you. Now I do notice that these boxes here are kind of not on the right spot. Like number 4 is like the best. So number 1 I need to lower just a tad. So let's see. That's better. And then the number 2 I need to bring up, and it lined it up with 4. And then same with number 3, it lined it back up. So now we have our little stations, and now we can get creative and add like little decorations and things like that. Again, just searching the transparent background. You can do a rug and things like that. I'm not going to show you that. You can do that on your own, but it's the same as what we've been doing. So now I'm going to show you how we can link these into Google Forms that we create. So I am going to stay in, obviously, my Harnett County account. I am going to open a new Google Chrome tab. I am going to pull out my waffle. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click Forms. Now, if any of these things don't automatically pop up, you can type in here and search for like Google Forms, and it'll come up that way. But we're going to go to a Google form, and we are going to click blank. So our form, this one is going to be sample station 1. And I'm going to write, type please complete this form to the best of your, to the best of your ability. And a smiley face. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do for 1 is I'm going to ask for the student's name. Obviously, I can't make that multiple choice, so you can come over here and make it a short answer. I recommend making things required unless it's like, if you said yes to the previous question, because then that way somebody doesn't accidentally skip something like a student's name or parent's name that you would kind of need to know whose was who. So then now I'm going to come over here, add question, and I'm going to ask for the parent's name. Again, it sometimes automatically does that, so thankfully it has, and make that required. And I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to ask for the email. Again, make it required. And I'm going to add one more question, and I'm going to ask, how do you feel about school? Required. And see, it didn't change it to anything else. That's fine. I can change it to short answer. And actually, I'm going to do one more question like this. If you said happy, tell me why. And I would not make this one required because obviously not everybody's going to say happy. But I do need to make sure it says short answer. So I do not have to click required here. So now that I have my Google form ready to go, you can change, like decorate the outside, decorate this. But again, we're doing minimal, and you can find that in this here. We're choosing image for your header and all of that. But we are just doing simple, simple, simple. So now that I have this done, I want to check. So I'm going to click on settings, and I am going to unclick restrict users in Harnett County Schools and its trusted organizations. I'm going to unclick that. This allows people and parents on computers that are not the Chromebooks that are checked out to access these Google Forms. So I'm going to unclick that. Go to presentation, show link to submit another response. No, I do not want them to do that. If in the future you do quizzes, shuffle quiz and progress bar, yeah, you can do quizzes and stuff here. So, oh, I didn't save it. So yeah, once you change like settings and stuff, make sure you come up here and click save. All right, one last thing, I'm going to click on this one, and I can add collaborators. So I could add something for like Miss Brown and Miss Heston and Miss Parker, but I don't want to do that because I'm the only person that's going to see these. So I don't need to do that. So